The night my $3 million Ohio house burned to the ground, I saw Karen, the HOA president, smiling through the flames like she'd won. But she didn't know my daughter would be the one waiting for her in court the next week. I still remember the smell of burning cedar. My dream home, worth over $3 million, glowed orange against the Ohio night like a funeral pyre. Flames crawled across the roofline while neighbors stood helplessly behind the yellow police tape. My wife screamed my name, but I couldn't move. I had built that house with my bare hands, every beam and nail representing 25 years of sweat and sacrifice. And Karen, the HOA president, destroyed it. I saw her standing there across the street, arms folded, that smug smirk under the flashing red lights. She didn't even try to hide it. The fire chief said it started near the garage, likely arson. But Karen already hated that garage, said it was too modern for the neighborhood. I clenched my fists as the firefighters battled what was left. Everything I owned, gone in minutes. Before we go on, please, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? I want to see how many families, parents, and neighbors are feeling this story across the country tonight. Your comment helps this message reach more people who've faced unfair HOA rules too. While she watched like it was entertainment, my daughter, Hannah, only 22, gripped my arm. Dad, she did this. You know she did. I couldn't answer. I just stared at the flames. That night, I vowed to make her face justice, no matter how long it took. But what happened next was something I never saw coming. Because exactly 1 week later, Karen walked through those courthouse doors, smiling, straight into my daughter's courtroom. Not as a defendant, but as the opposing lawyer. And that was when my blood turned to ice. It started 2 years before the fire, when my family moved to Ravenwood Estates, an HOA community just outside Dayton, Ohio. I had retired early from construction, invested smart, and built my dream house on a double lot. But Karen hated that from day one. She was the self-appointed queen of Ravenwood, mid-50s, bleach blonde, pearls even when mowing her lawn. Power wasn't her job, it was her identity. She said my house was too big, too modern, too different. Her favorite word was violation. She fined me for everything, from mailbox color to lawn height. At first, I laughed it off. Let her bark, I told my wife, Lisa. You don't fight a small dog by getting on all fours. But Karen escalated. She started showing up unannounced, snapping photos, reporting me for noise violations if I played country music in my own backyard. Then came the rumor that my money came from shady construction deals. She spread it at every neighborhood gathering until even friends started to doubt. One day, she stood on my driveway, holding a clipboard. "You'll never fit in here, Mr. Rowan," she sneered. "This neighborhood values order." I told her, calm as I could, "You don't want to start a war you can't finish." She smiled, cold, knowing, like she'd already planned the first strike. A month later, I got a letter from the HOA board, a $12,000 fine for unauthorized exterior modifications. The modification? My flagpole. Karen claimed the flagpole was obstructing the uniform sightline. But I knew it wasn't about sightlines. It was about control. I appealed at the next HOA meeting. The room was tense, neighbors whispering, Karen sitting at the front table like a judge in pearls. "Mr. Rowan," she said sweetly, "rules are rules." I leaned forward. "You don't make the rules, Karen. You twist them." The room gasped. She gave me a fake smile. "Then maybe you should read them better." That was the night she made me her obsession. From that day on, everything went wrong. Trash pickup, forgotten, letters missing, my truck vandalized. She even called the zoning office on my guest house. Lisa begged me to let it go. "She's not worth it," she said. "But pride, it's a dangerous thing." I couldn't let Karen win. I started recording her, documenting every visit, every word. I even installed cameras around my property. But that didn't stop her. She wanted humiliation, total destruction. And the night before the fire, she told me exactly what she'd do. "Careful, Rowan," she whispered. "Wood burns faster than pride." The next evening, a storm rolled in, lightning over the horizon, thunder shaking the windows. I remember thinking, Maybe nature would wash this madness away. Around midnight, I woke to the smell of smoke. Thick, dark, choking smoke pouring through the vents. Lisa screamed from the hallway. I grabbed Hannah, yelled for everyone to get out. The power cut off. Everything turned orange from the glow outside. When we ran into the yard, flames were everywhere, swallowing the walls, the porch, the dreams we built. My cameras caught it all. A shadowy figure near the garage, wearing Karen's signature raincoat. But the image was blurry. No proof. By morning, the investigators confirmed gasoline residue. Arson. I told the police my suspicions, but they said, without clear footage or witnesses, there's nothing we can do yet. Karen came by the next day, brought cookies, pretending sympathy. So tragic, Mike, she said, eyes glinting. Should have checked your wiring. I wanted to punch the ground, scream until my lungs tore. But I stayed silent. Because revenge doesn't start with noise. It starts with patience. And I had all the time in the world. Insurance covered the damage, but money couldn't replace 20 years of memories. Hannah's childhood photos, Lisa's mother's ring, all ashes now. We rented a small place nearby, quiet street, no HOA. But every drive past Ravenwood made my stomach twist. Karen had the nerve to call a community safety meeting a week later, standing where my house once stood. Cameras flashing, pretending to care. The local news covered it, painting her as a concerned leader. Tragic event unites neighborhood, the headline read. I nearly smashed the TV. Hannah, studying law at the time, started digging. Dad, she used HOA funds for private security around her house, she said. We hired a private investigator, old friend from my construction days. Within weeks, he found suspicious purchases, gasoline cans, new gloves, late-night Amazon orders. Still, no solid proof. Karen was careful, always just out of reach. One night, Lisa said softly, "You can't fight hate with hate, Mike." But she didn't know, this wasn't hate anymore. It was justice in waiting. And fate delivered it through a courtroom door. It was Hannah's first major case, her first week as a defense attorney. She was nervous but proud. "I've got this, Dad," she smiled. The case? A property dispute between a builder and a homeowner. Coincidence, right? Until I saw who the opposing counsel was. Karen. My heart stopped when she walked in. Same smirk, same pearls. She looked at Hannah like she'd been waiting for this moment. "Ms. Rowan," she said mockingly. "Small world, isn't it?" Hannah froze, realizing who she was facing. "You're my client's HOA president?" Karen nodded. "Was," she said, "until someone burned my life down too." The way she said it made my skin crawl. It hit me, she wasn't here for legal victory. She was here for revenge. Against me. Through my daughter. Hannah whispered, "Dad, she's baiting me." I told her, "Stay calm. Beat her with truth, not anger." But Karen had secrets, and she was about to use them in ways we couldn't imagine. Karen played dirty. She filed motions against Hannah, claimed conflict of interest, accused her of tampering with HOA evidence from the fire. She twisted every rule, just like before, turning the courtroom into another HOA meeting. The judge frowned, unsure who to believe. Hannah stood strong, voice steady. "Your Honor, this woman destroyed my father's home. She's using this courtroom as a weapon." Karen smiled. "Then prove it." The tension was unbearable. Every cross-examination, every smirk felt like reliving that fire. I sat behind Hannah, fists clenched. Karen's lawyers pushed her false narrative that I'd set the fire myself for insurance money. It broke something inside me hearing those lies. Lisa started crying quietly beside me. Then Hannah pulled a surprise. The private investigator's report, time-stamped footage, gas purchases, delivery records. Karen's smile vanished. The judge ordered a recess, face pale. For the first time, I saw fear in Karen's eyes. The tide had turned, and Hannah wasn't done yet. The next morning, Karen arrived late, hair unkempt, hands trembling. She'd been cornered and she knew it. Hannah calmly submitted one final exhibit, security footage from a gas station showing Karen buying gas at 11:42 p.m. the night of the fire. Karen stammered. That doesn't prove. It proves motive, timing, and intent, Hannah interrupted. And the jury deserves to see what obsession looks like. The courtroom went silent. Even the judge leaned forward. Karen's attorney whispered something, but she snapped, "No." Voice cracking, mascara running. The mask was finally falling apart. The judge called for order, but the damage was done. Everyone in that room saw who Karen really was. After court, she glared at me in the hallway. "You think you've won, Rowan? I still have friends in high places." I smiled faintly. "Then I'll see you there too." Because revenge wasn't about destruction anymore. It was about reclaiming peace. Weeks later, the verdict came. The jury ruled against Karen's client, and the county reopened her arson case. Police searched her property and found burned clothing, a half-empty gas can, and HOA documents linking her to multiple fraud claims. She was arrested in front of the same neighbors she once ruled. Cameras flashing, her pearls gone, her kingdom in ruins. I watched from my truck as she was led away. Lisa whispered, "It's over." But for me, it wasn't about victory. It was about closure. Hannah became known for the case that exposed HOA corruption in Ohio. News outlets called it the Ravenwood scandal. The insurance payout rebuilt our home, better, stronger. But I kept one scorched beam from the old house as a reminder, because some fires destroy and some reveal truth. Karen's downfall lit the second kind. It's been 20 years since that night. The house stands again, same address, same oak tree in front. But I'm different now. Every morning, I sit on the porch and watch the sun rise over the rebuilt roofline, coffee steaming, peace at last in the air. Hannah's a judge now, strong, fearless, and fair. She never let that case define her, but it shaped her strength. Lisa's garden blooms again, just like before the fire, colorful, untamed, beautiful in its freedom from control. Sometimes neighbors still whisper about the HOA fire, but I don't mind. Let them talk. Truth doesn't need defending anymore. Karen? Last I heard, she lives in a small apartment outside Cincinnati, teaching online law classes. Funny, isn't it? The woman who tried to control everyone now has no one left to control. As I walk through my quiet yard, I whisper to the wind, "You lost, Karen. Not because I fought you, but because I healed." And that is the sweetest revenge of all.